Hello, this is wmpyr. I am sorry I haven't made a video for you guys over the weekend. It was my birthday. I turned 41, and also very sadly, my uncle, who was from the UK, he just passed away recently. So, yeah, there's a whole lot going on with the family, and the guy was a very nice guy who was always had very interesting conversations. He was a very intelligent guy, and I remember he liked science fiction movies. So throughout the week, in memory of him, I'm going to try to watch as many science fiction TV shows and movies as I can. But anyway, in this video, just wanted to talk about a little bit about Filipino martial arts. There's something that we call the blender. Alright, so the blender is basically, if you will, it doesn't have to be with a knife, but just imagine a knife in one hand and you're doing like arm waving motions and you're going rapid fire, and it's just like that, but with a knife. Alright, so we call that the blender. It could be two knives. It doesn't even have to be a knife. It could be barehanded. It could be with sticks, single stick of various weapons. It really doesn't matter, but the idea is to go very, very fast, non-stop, continuous motion. That is, once again, what we call the blender. It's like a fan that just keeps going and going. This is not to be confused with something that I call the generator. The generator and the blender can overlap for sure, but the idea of a generator is basically it's a motion that you continue doing, and so that's similar to a blender, but from there you execute moves. You could still do that with a blender. The main difference, I would say, is speed, right? So the thing with the blender is back in the day, I remember asking people that were more experienced than I was in the Filipino martial arts, and I said, how do you defend against the blender? And the response that I got was basically, you don't defend against the blender. You just basically get away from it. One of the examples I got was if a fan is moving and imagine the blades are razor sharp and it's just rotating like that, would you put your finger in there? The answer is no, you wouldn't. So that was pretty much the idea of a blender. It's going so fast and stuff, so you don't mess with it, you just get out of there. But the thing is, because it's going so fast, that the person doing it cannot maintain that kind of speed for a long time. So you basically, if you keep your distance and stuff, they're going to have to stop at some point, or else they're going to wear themselves out. So that's the idea of a defense against the blender. And of course, if you're the one using the blender, the most important thing would be timing, using it at the right time, not at the wrong time and just trying to keep up the pace. You're going to get tired really, really quickly. Now, the generator, on the other hand, is something that you could keep going and going and going, and throughout the fight, you can be doing it. An example that I could give you is people who do boxing, kickboxing, wrestling, MMA. They have generators, whether they call it that or not, or whether they realize it or not. Some of the motions that they're doing are generators. It could be something like this, like if they're a boxer or a kickboxer, they're making this kind of motion, and from here they're going to do their combos, boom. But then they go back to this and they keep doing this kind of motion. That's a generator. Wrestlers, you might see them like in very, very low stances, and they constantly touching the floor, back and forth to fake a shoot or something like that. That could be their generator. So anyway, a generator is something, like I said, that you should be able to do it for quite some time without wearing yourself out. And a blender, on the other hand, is super, super fast, so it's something that you don't want to be doing the whole time. Alright, so on about the blender, ways to use it. One way is basically you could use it as a flail. Since you're going super fast, this kind of motion, what this could do is this could basically discourage a person from entering. So if they want to come in to grab you, if they want to get into grappling range or something like that, it could definitely discourage them. Maybe they want to grab you by the throat or something. It's going to make it harder for them to come in because they will get tagged, and a lot of people don't want to get hit. The danger is when the person decides, hey, you're super fast for sure, but your hits look weak. And maybe they decide, hey, I'm going to take one of your hits, but in exchange, I'm really going to hurt you. And they are committed, and they're not afraid of your hit, and they're going to come in, and they're going to take that exchange. So with someone like that, you're going to need a backup. So just doing the flail alone is not a good idea. So at that point, you're definitely going to want to have something super fast like this, but then you want to be able to switch to something a lot more powerful, like an elbow strike, and be ready for someone that is willing to come in and take a risk and take some of your shots that way. So you want to be able to adapt and switch your strategy from speed to power at that point. So that would be an optimum way to use the blender. The blender can also be used aggressively. So you could use the blender for you to close the gap, and this time you're entering in on the opponent to get close to them. Basically, the idea is to overwhelm your opponent with just speed. And it definitely can have that effect where your opponent's just going to be like, whoa, I can't keep up with this, and you're, bam, right there. And from there, you might have a different strategy. You might want to take them to the ground or pin them against a wall or throw them against something. So that could be another usage for the blender. Alright, so that's it for now. Thank you for watching, and take care, folks.